Showing up online isn't about you. It's about the people that you are helping. And yeah, there might be people out there who look at the content I share and they're like, oh, who does she think she is for doing that? But what I've realized is that there are even more people out there who listen to my podcast, who read my posts on Instagram, who watch my videos, who are learning something from it. It's having that tangible impact on their lives. And that matters to me so much more than the opinion of somebody I don't even really care about. Hey, welcome back to Imperfect Action. This is episode 716. Today, we're talking about the fear of judgment. Now, this is something that I have come up against over and over and over again in my business. And when I first started building my personal brand, I worried nonstop what other people would think of me. Now, would people think I was weird for putting myself out there? Would people laugh at me? Would people troll me? These days, I generally don't care a whole lot what people on the internet say. Obviously, I don't love getting mean comments, but I've also realized that in the broader context of how many people I'm helping by showing up online, the occasional mean comment doesn't actually mean very much. So this episode, I'm going to share 3 big tips that helped me to overcome my own fear of judgment, in the hopes that if you are afraid of what others will think and you're afraid of putting yourself out there, I'm hoping that these tips will really help you because they have been big shifts for me as well. So number 1, what people think of you is a reflection of themselves and doesn't have that much to actually do with you. Now, a very popular concept in modern psychology is that the things we dislike or resent in other people are often the things that we are unable to see or accept in ourselves. So the things that we envy in other people are the things that we wish we could do ourselves, for example. Now, for example, if somebody is afraid to speak up and get visible, then of course they're going to resent me or envy me for building my own brand and getting visible that way. If somebody feels guilty for promoting their own work and sharing their own accomplishments, then of course they're going to be triggered by me sharing my wins. Back in 2020, when my business grew really quickly, pretty much overnight, I posted about it on Instagram and I had a lot of people unfollow me as a result of that post. But I also had a lot of people commenting and messaging me to say, hey, this is so inspiring. If you can do it, so can I. And they were consuming the exact same content. Both of those groups of people were consuming the exact same post, but they had completely different interpretations of it. One group saw it as a little bit triggering. The other group saw it as inspiring. And regardless of what you do, your actions are going to create some kind of judgment in somebody. So you can either do nothing and hide under the kitchen table and hope that nobody ever judges you, or you can get out there and do what feels right to you. Do what you really want to do and know that the right people aren't going to judge you. The second big shift was realizing that everyone else cares too much about themselves to think about me as much as I think that they do, right? Nobody cares about you as much as you think that they care about you. And if I find myself getting caught up in overthinking, what will people think? What will people think if I say this? What will people think if I post this? I always remind myself, nobody cares, which might sound a little bit depressing, but it's actually so freeing. Nobody cares what I say. Nobody cares what I do. So I can do what feels right for me, rather than what I think people want me to do or say. And if you're really worried about what other people are going to think, pause and ask yourself, who are these people who are so bored and unhappy with their own lives that they have the time and energy to judge me for this thing? And why am I letting their opinion matter to me? Why do I care about their opinion? I have always been super self-critical. I think this just comes as being part of an overachiever. We tend to be pretty harsh critics. And another thing that I've realized is I'm probably always going to be my own harshest critic anyway. Other people aren't looking at my every move in nearly as much detail as I am. They're not being as critical of me as I am being critical of me. Then the third big shift that I realized was showing up online isn't about you. It's about the people that you are helping. And yeah, there might be people out there who look at the content I share and they're like, oh, who does she think she is for doing that? But what I've realized is that there are even more people out there who listen to my podcast, who read my posts on Instagram, who watch my videos, who are learning something from it. It's having that tangible impact on their lives. And that matters to me so much more than the opinion of somebody I don't even really care about. Now, people are going to judge you regardless. So let them judge you for who you actually are and have a little bit of impact. Do some good in the process. Show up and help the people that you can help. I once had someone call me a skid mark on Facebook, and I had another person put a poop emoji on a photo of me and send it to my email. And I actually feel really sorry for trolls like this because they have nothing better to do with their time than to send these things. So if you're worried about people judging you and saying mean things online, remember that it's not about the people who are going to troll you for the sake of trolling you, but it's actually about the people who you can help. And why would you let the people who are going to call you a skid mark stop you from showing up and helping the people who you can have a real impact on? So if you're worried that something like this will happen when you start showing up online, I do want to say it doesn't happen that often. I have very rarely had any actual trolls, and I don't get that many mean comments. It's pretty rare. But remember that when you start showing up online, it's actually going to, if somebody says something mean, it says more about them than it does about you. Right? So there are a couple of little shifts. Hopefully those help you to overcome that fear of stepping into the spotlight, because you definitely do have something to say. Even if you are doubting what you want to say and whether you know enough, the confidence will grow. It will come. And the more that you start showing up and the more you start sharing, the more comfortable you will begin to feel with all of that. Now, if you're not already subscribed to the show, hit the subscribe button or the follow button on Apple Podcasts. And it just means you'll get each new episode straight to your podcast app every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Thank you so much for listening. Catch you next time.